Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start by giving our praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Recha HaKodash, the honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well, and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, pushing this word with all truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Shalom, shalom. This is your brother Quanah Waffle, the Great Millstone Charlotte Camp, coming with a quick lesson to the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. And just real quick, man, I just want to touch on the topic of, any day now, man, right? We see prophecy ramping up, right? We see World War III, right, on the horizon. We see the mark of the beast, coming soon, right? We see the internal collapse of Babylon the Great happening before our eyes, right? And we know that, as the scriptures tell us, to redeem the times, right? Because the days are evil, man, right? That word redeeming going into making good use of the opportunity that we've been afforded, man, right? And we know, again, any day now, right, as we were going into camp on Saturday, right, this is the time to be setting your house in order, right, establishing your faith, right, for the tumultuous time that we're about to walk into, man, right, because as brothers say, we're gonna have to walk out on faith, man, right, because the message of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is the main target, right, of our enemy, man, right. Now I want to start here in Romans 13, and so like in verse 11, it reads, "And that knowing the time, that it is high time to wake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed," right? And this is the time to wake out of sleep. Well, this word is going out on a level, right, that it never has before, man, right? The scriptures tell us that it's going to reach the four corners of the earth, right? And then the end shall come, so the end is closer than we even understand it to be, man, right? Even like it says in the NLT, it says, this is all the more urgent. This is all the more urgent, for how late it is. Time is running out, right? Time is running out, right? It's as the times of Noah, right? It's running out. The opportunity to get on that boat, man, to get on this ark spiritually, right? It's coming to a close. Those doors of mercy, right, are closing as we speak. It says, wake up, for our salvation is nearer now than when we first believed. And, every brother has a story, right, of, when we first come into the camp, we come into this understanding, right? We think the end is coming, right, that next day, that next year, right? But, over time, you become wiser and understanding how prophecy has to unfold. So now we know, right, the spiritual energy, right, that the Lord has, being placed in the earth through prophecy, man, right? And you can feel the end time coming faster, man, right? It says in verse 12, "The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light," right? So we're putting on this word, man, right? Putting on these garments, that we may be found acceptable to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. That's why it says here in, Daniel 12 and 12, I think. Daniel 12, and we'll start in 9. It reads, "And he said, Go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the time of the end." Right? We're in the time of the end. That's right now, man. Right? "Many shall be purified and made white, the elect, and tried," right? Because the elect are going to be tried as well. "But the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand," right? So the elect are being purified through these trials and tribulations, man, right? As the scriptures tell us, that they shall both suffer straight things, right? Well, actually, let me just get it. I don't want to misquote it, right? It's in, I think it's in Sirach 7. Second Ezra. Let me see. So like Second Ezra chapter 7. This is Second Ezra 7 and 18. Nevertheless, the righteous shall suffer straight things, right? Times of difficulty, and hope for the wide, for they that have done wickedly have suffered the straight things, and yet shall not see the wide. So that's going into, right, those being purified and made white through these sufferings, right? And the wicked are going to continue to insert and serve their judgment through these sufferings, man, right? And like it says, the wicked shall not understand, but the wise shall understand, man, right? And that goes into this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? Isaiah 33 and 6, right? Giving us that stability, right, through these times, man, right? As it says in the latter of that verse, right? Isaiah 33 and 6, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure, right? So this is the most valuable knowledge that you could ever hope to attain, right? And understanding that, again, going back to the title of the lesson, man, we know these things could be happening any day now, man. A cyber attack, right? Bio attacks, whatever, domestic tea attacks that they have, right, planned for America, man, right? We're watching the various plagues and pestilences go on, right? The natural disasters, right? The droughts, the the fires, all these things are signs of the end, man, right? That's why, let's get that. In Matthew, right? Matthew 24, and we'll start in 12. Matthew 24 and 12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And we're watching that, right? The people losing their minds, bro, right? That love, right, is waning, right? That care for your neighbor no longer exists. It's the dog eat dog world, and that's going to continue to intensify, man. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And we continually pray for that endurance, man, right? For the Lord to keep his spirit on us throughout all of these things, man. It says that in this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. And that's what the importance of the camps is, man, right? Going out on the highways and hedges, right? Doing the videos, right? Because that's that word going out to all nations, man, right? Going into the marketplace, man, the agora, right? So that everybody hears this message, man, for a witness unto all nations. And then shall the end come, right? And that word is going out, right? And it's going out in a manner that the earth has never seen, man, right? Because as we get closer to the end, it's required for this message to be heard, so the Lord is vindicated in his judgments, man. Let's go back to that Romans 13. This is Romans 13 and verse 13. It reads, let us walk honestly as in the day, not rioting and drunkenness, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying, right? So being consumed with this society, man, right? Being too attached to the ways of this world, right? As the scriptures tell you, you use the world, not abuse it, right? So we use what we've been afforded through the Spirit, right? But we're not attached to any of these things, man, right? We can let these things go, right, at the drop of a hat if need be, right? Like it says in the NLT, because we belong to the day, we must live decent lives for all to see. Don't participate in the darkness of wild parties and drunkenness, or in sexual promiscuity and immoral living, or in quarreling and jealousy, right? So just being caught up out here in this world, man, right? This isn't the time for parties. This isn't the time, right, for heaping women unto yourself. This isn't the time, right, for exercising, what's the word? A lack of emotional acuity, right, or maturity, right? These are the times where you have to be more reserved, man. Right, when the time requires, man. You know, you have to pull back from this world because we're gonna be, what's the word? Enemy number one, right? Public enemy number one in the eyes of Babylon the Great and its people, right? So if we're caught up out here, right, and then they know who the prophets are, right? That makes you an easy target, man, right? So our job is to not make that that job easy for them, man. Verse 14, but put ye on the Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, and made not provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof, right? So the point being, man, we're almost at the end, man, right? Any day now, these things could be upon us, right? And again, as it reads in 2nd Ezra's 9th chapter, right? He's answered me and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, right? And we're measuring this time day by day, through prophecy. And when thou seest part of the signs pass, right, we're seeing prophecies take place day in and day out, man, right? Or what's the word? We're seeing the steps, right? We're seeing, right, the direction that the world is going in, right, leading to prophecy, right? That the ultimate prophetic events, right? We're watching them pass by, which I've told thee before. Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made, right? And he's visiting what? Through the spirit of the prophets first and foremost, that he's putting his spirit on to declare these things. But the works that you see taking place in the earth, man, right? Like it says in verse 3, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes, as we see, across the earth, and uproars of the people, again, we see worldwide in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning, right? It says, for like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, right? We're in the midst of the end right now, man. Let's see what that word, since I got this pulled up, see what that word manifest goes into real quick. Manifest, it says, clearly revealed to the eye or the understanding, right? It's clear that we're in the end, man. It's clear. It's an open view or comprehension, right? And that open view, again, goes into declaring these things, right, among the nations, right? Like it says, I think it says here, proclaim, let me see. Proclaim among the Gentiles, right? I think it's in Joel. Yep. So Joel 3:9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, make up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up, right? But we're proclaiming this message, right? Like it says here in Jeremiah, in the cities of Judah, man, right? In the streets of Jerusalem, right? We're proclaiming this message worldwide, right? Brothers all over the world, GMS camps all over the world, man, right? Brothers who agree with the same doctrine, teaching all over the world, right? This message has been proclaimed in the four corners of the earth, man. And that's how we know the end is near. It says evident, palpable, which means you can feel it, right? Apprehensible, clear, apparent, evident, proved by direct evidence, right? This is what we're seeing, man, right? So going back, it says, for like 2 Ezra 9:5, for like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs, right? And this is what we're seeing, man. The end is near, right? right? Any day now, you know. We got the draft, the draft eligibility, being spoken of, right? Them raising the ages, which speaks to a coming war, right? We got the digital surveillance system, the mark of the beast infrastructure continually being solidified. Them pushing for the downfall of the economy, all these things, man. Right, the world that itself is at war. Right, all these nations, right, are against these Amalekites in America. The combination of Israel and the American militaries, all these things, right, are those plain wonders, right, plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works, right, powerful works are taking place, man, and endings and effects and signs, man. So any day now, right, we stay prayed up. As the Apostle Ricardo always says, keeps your medicine strong, but continue to pray for the body, for the believers, right? Continue to, as it says, set your house in order, man, right? Be diligent, right, in your works, right, in your measuring of these times, right? Understanding, again, as we read that in Romans 13, just reading it again, all right, Romans 13:11, that knowing the time, that now it is time, high time, to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than we believed, So Lord willing, I was edifying through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. I want to close by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well, and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, pushing this word with all truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Shalom, shalom. Kwam Yasharala, and Abad Babal. Shalom.